There's that mixing the special media, like how you can connect particles to watercolor.
Yes.
Should we show that off real quick?
An absolutely great one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it was just one of those things that kind of bothered us before, but, you know, I think it's just one of those fixes that I really love, you know, and now we can kind of mix things, mix brushes. And that's what Painter's always been about, really, is mixing the mediums. And I think that's what Painter 2016, I think, has really, really managed to do well. Is now managed to let us mix the brushes together.
Yeah.
I think that really works now.
This speckled tiger lily in real watercolor is a good example. I wonder if Skip made this one. This seems like a Skip brush. You can see the little particles dance around and do their thing. And if I let go, is this going to bleed and trickle into the paper or diffuse as a watercolor brush would? So if we look under the brush control panels general to look at all the possible settings, you can see that this brush has a dab type. There's a bunch of new dab types here that connect liquid ink, watercolor, and dynamic speckles to the particle brush technology. So right now I'm using one of these watercolor ones. Which one is it? I'm using dynamic speckle flow particles for this particular brush. But you can connect liquid ink, watercolor. I believe you can also connect impasto to a lot of brushes that couldn't normally use impasto before. Yeah. So for instance, if I had like a sponge brush that didn't normally use impasto, I could add impasto to that. So things are kind of linked up a little more and you get a lot more control over your brushes. There is also grainy alpha blend in the subcategory is also new. And that's kind of a different way of blending. It blends to alpha. So if you find that there's any brushes that still have a little bit of white fringe or they're not blending exactly as they should, you can use this new grainy alpha blend. And then a lot of the brushes, a lot of the older brushes that you would expect to see like in the blenders have been updated. If it says 2 next to it, that basically means that we've gone through and updated most of the blenders to enhanced layer blending or changed the subcategory to grainy alpha blend or added speckles to brushes that normally would use bristles, and basically everything's just upgraded to use the new technologies. You'll also notice that in the 2016 brush library, some things have been combined, like acrylics and gouache are together. There's fewer categories now, and there's fewer variants so that it's easier to find what you're looking for.
I will just point out, on the brushes with number 2 at the end, like you've got wet grainy blender 2 there. Sorry, wet detail brush 2 there. If you want the original, you'll find that in the Painter 2015 brushes. Yeah, if we switch to that library. Still there. Yeah, everything's still there. You just switch to the 2015 library and there's all the categories and tons of brushes. And you get to that through this little top right sub-dialog menu, and you go to brush library. And you can choose from any of these libraries. Oh, and I will point out as well that you can drag brushes from either library now into your custom palettes.
Oh, so you can mix 2015 and 2016?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Your custom palettes, and there's not a problem with that.
That's good. What I've done with the brushes is I package all mine together into my own custom category. And then that way I don't really have to switch libraries. I just exported out all the brushes I wanted, tweaked them to how I wanted them to be, and then make them that category. And that way, if I ever want to move that category between versions of Painter, it's pretty easy to do.
In 2015, if you had different brushes from different libraries in the same custom palette, you couldn't use them without going and swapping a library, manually swapping a library.
Yeah, that was kind of a pain.
But now you can. It automatically swaps your library for you.
Yeah, it's very, very handy dandy.
It's actually easier rather than going through the menu to swap your library, it's actually easier to just go and pick the, if you know that one's in the 2015 library, it's actually easier to go and click on the brush from that in your custom brush menu.